What if your meetings could do the work for you? No, seriously. Today, we're going to completely change how you think about those hour-long recordings, transforming them from just, simple archives into an absolute goldmine of valuable, ready-to-use content. Just imagine this for a second. What if that one customer call or that team sync wasn't just an endpoint, but the actual starting point for user stories, documentation, training videos, and a whole lot more? It sounds like some kind of productivity dream, right? Well, it's now a reality. Because, let's be honest, right now, for most of us, the reality is the post-meeting nightmare. It's that all too familiar feeling of having a great conversation and then, bam, you're hit with a mountain of manual work that just eats away at your day. We've all been there. You have to manually transcribe all the key takeaways, painstakingly write up user stories or action items, try to draft documentation from memory, and maybe, if you have several hours to spare, you might attempt to edit a training video. It's tedious, it's slow, and it's a huge, huge bottleneck. But it's time to change all of that. And this brings us to what I'm calling the one recording revolution, a fundamental shift in mindset. We're going to start treating every single piece of recorded content as a seed for an entire ecosystem of assets. The core idea is this powerful, simple equation. One recording equals 10 or even more deliverables. This isn't about working harder. It's about making your content work for you. And just look at the possibilities here. We're talking about generating everything from concise meeting notes and development-ready user stories to actual code and test classes, technical docs, and even polished media like podcasts and YouTube content. It's a complete content factory, all spinning out from a single source. It's pretty wild. So how do we make this happen? Well, we do it with the AI assembly line. I'm going to walk you through a simple but incredibly powerful workflow that automates this entire process, turning raw conversations into finished products. The workflow breaks down into 4 really clear stages. First, you record your meeting. Obvious, right? Then you process it with AI to structure all that information. Next, you build tangible assets from it. And finally, you distribute the finished content. Simple. So let's check out the tools that make this all possible. Okay, we start at the processing stage with a tool like NotebookLM. Think of it as your personal research assistant. You just feed it your meeting transcript and it immediately gets to work, pulling out key themes, creating summaries, and it can even draft an entire podcast episode for you. And this right here brilliantly illustrates the impact. I mean, what used to take 2 hours of painful manual note-taking can now be done in about 2 minutes. That's not just an improvement. That's a total game changer for how you handle information. Now let's move on to the build stage. For teams working on Salesforce, a tool like Copado AI is absolutely incredible. It takes that same meeting transcript and converts the discussion directly into perfectly formatted user stories, acceptance criteria, and get this, it can even generate production-ready code. Look at this efficiency gain. 45 minutes of trying to remember every little detail to draft user stories becomes just 1 minute. Yeah, in 60 seconds, you can have 5 to 10 complete stories ready for your development backlog. The acceleration here is just staggering. Okay, so what about creating media? Something that used to require a whole bunch of specialized skills. Well, with a tool like Google Vids, you can feed it your transcript or just a summary document, and it will generate a complete video for you. And we're talking about a professional quality video here. It generates the script, an AI voiceover, and it pulls in relevant stock footage and transitions. The entire process from a raw document to a polished MP4 file takes about 10 minutes. No video editing skills required, none. So when you put all of this together, the processing, the building, the media creation, what does the impact actually look like? The results are, frankly, astonishing. This is where you really see the true return on investment. Across the board, this AI assembly line delivers a 14-fold increase in speed. Let that sink in for a second. That means a task that once took 2 full workdays can now be done in just over an hour. And what does that speed mean for the bottom line? For a team handling just 10 customer calls a month, the potential annual cost savings can exceed $200,000. That's the financial power of reclaiming all those lost hours of manual work. Now, what's really interesting is seeing the breakdown. It's not just one area. I mean, look at podcast creation, 60 times faster. User stories, 50 times faster. Even complex tasks like documentation and video creation see improvements of over 20x. Every single step of the post-meeting process is just radically accelerated.
Okay, this is all amazing, but how do you actually get started? That's what this final section is all about, giving you a simple playbook and the tools you need to build your very own AI assembly line.
Here's a quick reference guide for your new playbook. For research and podcast drafts, Notebook LM is your starting point. For Salesforce teams needing user stories and code, it's Kapato AI. And for turning any of those documents into a quick professional video, you've got Google Vids. This course stack covers the entire workflow we just talked about. So, I'll just leave you with this thought. The meetings, the customer calls, the training sessions, they are already happening. The content is being created every single day. The only question left is what will you build with it now?